Hello, another wonderful podcast. Today we're going to talk about some new changes in the probate arena. In June of 2025, Governor Lombardo signed SB 404, and it provided for some changes to the probate procedure starting October 1st of 2025. Can you tell us more about them?
Yes. So a lot of things were in SB 404, and I'm just going to touch on some of the big ones. So starting October, we have the first one that is going to change thresholds, which is a huge change because that's going to change what type of probate you're in depending on the value of your assets. So if you've watched any of our prior podcasts, you'll know that we've talked about thresholds. So if we talk to the smallest threshold, which is an affidavit of entitlement, it used to be prior to October 1st, 2025, that if you were married, you had a $100,000 exemption of probate. So avoiding the probate process with this affidavit, as long as other parameters were met, like 40 days have passed, there were no debts, it was not real property, that threshold was $100,000 if you left a surviving spouse. As of October, it got bumped to $150,000. So $50,000 more on that affidavit that's going to essentially avoid probate. So that's a huge change.
That's huge. 50% increase. Wonderful.
So that's the first. The second is going to mimic that into the next type of probate. So your summary administration is going to go, well, let's go to the next one, which would be a set-aside. Your set-aside is going to go from $100,000 threshold to $150,000 threshold. So again, we went from $100,000 to $150,000. After that, you have summary administration, which capped out at $300,000. Now that's been up to $500,000. So you're going to be in summary administration if you have assets up to $500,000, $200,000 more than it was. So these are huge changes.
Huge changes. And just to clarify, it's probatable assets.
Right. And because you'll see it a lot with houses. If you just have one house, and a lot of people think, oh, this is a lot of money. Why would I ever be in a super high threshold anyway? If you take your house alone, nowadays in Nevada at least, your house is well over $400,000, gets upward to $500,000. So if we were still in that $300,000 range, most people with a house are going to be in the highest tier no matter what. Now with the changes up to $500,000, that's going to relieve some of those people with just houses going through probate. The other change that is aside from thresholds is going to be your order of priority on acting. So with an administrator, you have a certain pecking order of who gets to actually act. And it has this order, but what's happened is grandchildren have jumped in front of parents now. So grandchildren have been added in front of parents now. And the statute itself, the order has changed, but you can go look at that yourself if you want to see it. But grandchildren now have a higher priority than a parent does, according to the order of administration. So that's another huge change. So as of October, lots of things are happening in the probate realm, which in my opinion are probably good things. And so we're going to see a lot of changes coming up and throughout the course of until the next legislative year in the probate realm where it probably should have been updated. So it's probably a good thing.
Does this have any effect on probates that have already been filed?
No, it does not. So we can't grandfather old ones in, but you could, essentially hold off on filing until
After October 1st,
until
2025.
Right.